Hey everyone, happy Thursday and welcome back to the Scandal After Show here at the Stream.tv. I'm your host Jocelyn Polite and we have two new hosts on the couch with us for this season. Over here to my left is Kat Inslee and across from me is Jillian, who you remember from before the hiatus.
Same old person. Not new.
But we love you anyway.
And we are welcoming Christina Myers to the couch as well.
Hello.
Yay! Okay, so hiatus over, we are back in it, and this episode was crazy, and we're gonna get right into it, but first we wanna let you know to tweet us. Using the hashtag ScandalAS, you can tweet us, use the hashtag, get your questions and comments in. You can also join us on our YouTube chat. Just look for the Stream's YouTube chat, and leave us some questions and comments. At the end of the show, we're gonna answer some questions, and we would love to get to one of your questions and answer it on air tonight. All right, Olivia, my God. I mean, this whole episode was Olivia.
This was so crazy.
It was, and we're gonna go right into which out of the four perspectives impacted the most. Because this was different, you know, and I think that this was a lot like that show on Showtime, The Affair, where they showed the different perspectives, and I like that. I didn't know what was going on because I never do in the beginning. It's like birds flying, but I got it, and I was like, this is really interesting. So, which perspective like impacted you the most?
I liked the kidnapper one. I feel like that's the only one that we saw where they brought her to the door. None of us even thought for a second where she was, but she was across the room, which we would never have known. So I loved that one the most, I think.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. That one and like the combination of that, like with Olivia's like first like realization of what is happening.
Right.
Like the second the hand is over her mouth and you just see her like, oh my God. But I agree with you. Like, who would have thought that they just took her to the apartment across the hall?
Such
like,
pros.
Who would have done that? Like, I didn't think about that. And they planned it all so perfectly so that B613, our lovely Jake, would follow their exact like, you know, like manipulation. It was perfect. I loved it. Such a good beginning. What about you, girl?
Yeah, no, I think that the suspense, like of her being kidnapped, I mean, you're so drawn into it that you don't consider, you're not even thinking what happened to her, right? You're just emotionally engrossed in the story. So maybe if we had our thinking hats on instead, we'd been like, there she's next door! Although I have to say, while we were watching it, I have to give Kat credit for like unraveling the whole entire plot.
Oh my!
Like she called it.
Yeah.
She called it like what?
I will say though, we learned something a little bit different in every perspective, which kind of made it cool. So perhaps that was the best one because it was kind of like the most shocking thing. It was like when Jake was running, you're like, get the license plate, get the license plate. And then all of a sudden you find that it was actually a setup. And you're like, it's amazing, they were across the room.
I liked,
we
you know,
because
for me, I liked Olivia's perspective because, you know, that little part of her, when she dropped a ring, you know, I was like, at a girl. Like she dropped a ring and kind of like pushed it back, and her perspective was, the kidnapper's perspective was scary, but like for me, her perspective was scary because I know her as a character and I was pulled in more to her. So I like that, and I like the way that they did a good job of writers on that one.
The slow-mo too, I thought was really interesting. How it was like, it was so fast, but it made it look like it was so slow. You saw all the detail of him walking in and her trying to fight until he got back in. Shonda Rhimes did say this was the coolest episode she's ever written, one of her favorites she's ever done on television, and I don't think that she disappointed. I think that we all kind of think the same.
I agree with her. So we saw, we got to see where Olivia is. I mean, like, as the audience here, and we found her, but you know, no one else has found her, and we haven't been back in. What's weird for me to say this, we haven't been back in DC, but we don't know what everybody else is thinking or where they think she is. But it was interesting because Kat, just going right into it, because let's just say Kat Inslee nailed this entire episode. The entire time we were viewing, she knew exactly what was going on the whole time. We loved it. Like
the vault.
It was, we call her the vault. But the first thing I was thinking, I never even thought of this, but Kat hit it right away and was like, the prisoner's not believable. Not believable at all.
Didn't have enough stubble. Like, okay, he's talking to like, oh, I've been in here for weeks or for days, or sometimes, you know, they leave for a week at a time and they don't feed me. He was barely working a 5 o'clock shadow, okay? I'm sorry. If you're gonna at least pretend that you've been kidnapped for weeks, at least try to grow your facial head out a little bit more.
That's
like
true.
A little bit. And he didn't even have like one of those super baby faces to where you like, you know they can't grow facial hair.
Right.
No.
Man.
He had some stubble, just not enough. Like, come on, man.
I think what made me suspicious is that the kidnappers, they only showed the eyes on the mask, and then when she was like, you know, trying to like say strong, they kept showing his eyes, and it was like, let her figure it out. Let her figure it out. It was
Yep.
a good
She
call.
always judges them by their eyes.
She
She's
does.
like, I saw it in their eyes, and
Yep.
everyone's always telling her, oh, I wish your eyes would hold up in court, you know.
Right.
So I'm just, oh.
And it was interesting because I thought, you know, I mean, I know she was in a distressed situation, but I always thought that like Olivia kind of could read into people. So when she was grabbing his face and everything, I was like, she's about to figure it out. She's about to know that this person is, you know, not saying the truth. Because remember, she was always like, I go with my gut, you know, and I know if, you know, if they're right. So I was like, come on, Liv, get it right. But she wasn't, you know, I guess it was all that hash and oatmeal she was eating.
She wanted to save him. Like,
Yeah.
that was her big thing, is like, I'm going to save us, which is, you know, Olivia's entire white hat, you know, scenario. But she was just, that's all that she was thinking, like, I can help you. I can
maybe
calm
she
you down.
finally found her match, right? Someone who can, better with the eyes than Olivia. I mean, I don't know if it's possible, but like apparently he's better at masquerading, you know? I mean, better.
Yeah.
This episode was crazy. This episode was like Prison Break, 24, and Lost combined into one. Whereas we're like,
Homeland.
I kept hoping
Homeland, yes.
that Olivia was gonna figure something out, and it was like, but everything is just crazy. I don't even know if she can figure it out, if she'll recognize something that she would have seen before.
Oh my God, I'm like, are they turning her now? She's gonna become like
Right.
a double agent or
Oh,
something.
no.
You know, like now she's gonna go through this boot camp where they make her into what the guy from Homeland was.
It was a believable situation. I mean, to me, I was like, oh my gosh. I think I even like tweeted out like, they're in West Angola, and I hear, you know, the Islamic call to prayer, and I was like, okay, this is where we are. And then you called it again,
Yep.
and was like,
Nope.
no,
Nope.
this is a setup. So that was like really cool. Okay,
Yeah.
well, first I want to go and give some Facebook shout outs because this hiatus was long. It was like, I believe 69 days or 70. It was a long, it was like 2.5 months. And Scandal Chats, Scandalholics, Scandal It's Handled, and Scandal Lights. They're all on Facebook. And they did such a great job. You guys did a great job of just keeping us going during the hiatus. I was not bored. You had pictures, information, and the most the coolest trivia game ever that was making me dig. And weren't we like we were all digging into like previous episodes, trying to figure out, and seasons trying to figure out how to answer these trivia questions. So it was really great, and you kept us going. And thank you so much. Okay, who do you guys think is going to save Olivia, and how many episodes do you think it'll take? Because I'm thinking that we're going to ride this through maybe for about 3 episodes. 4?
I genuinely have no idea. I think one of the coolest things is that we didn't see anybody else but Olivia in this episode, so it really gives us no indication of what's been happening all the time she was there. I mean, this episode had so many details where, you know, her hair started to get a little frizzier, so you know it's been like a long, you know that it's been a long amount of time, and we have no idea what's going on. I think the interesting thing we'll see is how Fitz and Jake work together, hopefully, to try and find her.
I think that's going to be
see?
the only way, is if they
Yeah.
work together. Yeah, what do you think?
What do you think?
I don't
Yeah.
know. I think she is on her own, and she's got to figure it out on her own. I mean, like the way that the dream was planted, and it wasn't, yes, it was the influence of the people in her lives that helped her find the answer with the pipe, but it's time for her to step up and get herself out of this situation.
I like that you said lives, how in Olivia's lives, like you were like the people in her different lives. Because
Did I say that?
Well, no, but I mean, you're completely right, because she has, you know, the image of Jake coming in to save her and whisking her off in his arms, being all hot and sexy. Thank you, Scott Foley. Thank you for running down the street in your underwear. That was a great way to
That was
open the
just a plus.
episode. That's just a
We
plus
missed
for all of
you
us.
so much.
Yes, we did.
Well, I was also going
You know, a
to.
little sex appeal in
One of
every
the questions
episode.
I was going to
Always
ask for the 4 of us is, which dream sequence did you like? Because I'm going to ask you guys, and then I'll say mine at the end. But which dream sequence did you like the best?
I really appreciated that Abby was in there, because everyone always thinks Fitz, everyone always thinks Jake, but Abby's the one who kind of led her to the pipe, which you know, I wouldn't have thought of. So kudos to them for thinking of something different, I think.
Give the redhead some airtime.
God, I love her. Yeah, what did you
What
think?
did you think, Kristen?
Oh,
Your favorite dream sequence?
thank you, of course. I was like, you know, grooving with what she was saying about, yes, totally. I kind of have a crush on Fitz, so that
Team
made me
Fitz
happy.
over there.
Yeah, I do.
I'm gonna have to be like the odd duck out and just say I am Team Jake. I am Team Jake 100%. Him coming in and like the you know, the huge, we're gonna explode this whole thing, and then he just picks her up in his arms and runs off with her. Just sorry, Shonda Rhimes. I know you always try to do those romantic things, but it never ends up happening because everyone always breaks up.
Okay, so it looks like we have a Team Fitz, 2 Team Jakes, and I'm on the fence. I was Team Jake. I was Team Jake for a really long time, and I just was so tired of the back and forth with the Jake and the Fitz. It just drove me crazy. And then the one thing that I didn't like is that she got snatched on his watch. So that was the only thing that I was like, but I know
I was a
it
little
wasn't his
lazy.
fault.
Like, how did he let his guard down so
Well,
much?
he was expecting sex on the piano. I mean, let's
got excited.
be honest. He was
The blood
expecting sex
flow
on
was
the
in the
piano.
wrong
He was
area.
grabbing pillows. You know,
The
he's
blood
not
flow
in
was in
the
the wrong
badass
place.
Exactly.
mode.
A man only has enough blood to flow to one head at a time.
Just to
It's
clarify,
been a while since he's been, called to duty.
Yeah, exactly. He's been like on vacation.
Absolutely. Well, another thing that has happened is that even over this hiatus, I have to say that just recently, an article came out in the Hollywood Reporter where Shonda Rhimes was interviewed and talked about the direction that it's headed in. So Olivia is supposed to she's supposed to emerge as this brand new woman after this kidnapping, and she has made a choice, which everyone on Twitter went crazy about because we were like, are we all watching the same show? Because she didn't make a choice. She chose herself. So with reading this article, how did you guys, what did you feel about that?
after reading that and seeing tonight's episode, I get it, because she chose herself in the last episode, but now she's got to get herself out in a way. It's like we're all talking about who's going to save her, but in the dream, they're like, Tom said, no one's coming to get you.
Yep.
Like, you got to do it yourself. So she chose herself, and now she's got to figure a way out.
I think she has to stick with herself, you
Right.
know, because like
That's
you
key.
can say all day long, like, I don't choose Fitz, I don't choose Jake. But the second she gets in a room with the two of them, that decision's gonna have to be made. I mean, she was with Jake when it happened. So I completely agree with you that now that she's gonna choose her and
Okay.
actually stick with it.
I wonder if Shonda's just speaking in code and really like
I think she is.
choosing is yes. Back to this cat, you smart one. I feel like this almost goes into that idea of like now I'm convinced she's a double agent. Like there's gonna end up she's gonna be brainwashed and she has to unbrainwash herself. And maybe that's when Jake and Fitz enter the picture.
You're all Brody
Well,
in
one
this.
thing-
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
one
so
thing-
like this is going Brody.
One thing that is hitting me, I am missing Harrison as a character. And the reason why I'm missing him, and I know we didn't go into the other characters, you know, in the show, but I'm missing Harrison, and I know, you know, he's gone. We haven't replaced him yet with anyone. I'm not looking to directly replace him with like another Harrison per se, but we need somebody that is going to pull this thing back together.
Yeah.
Because it's so fragmented, and everyone is so fragmented, and now Olivia's kidnapped. She's not focused. Abby is not focused. Harrison was the one that focused everyone,
Yep.
and I feel
Yeah.
like him being gone is just it's taken a little loss, and it's the only like major problem that I am having with the show. I wish that there could be another
Well,
gladiator.
Harrison.
One thing that we haven't mentioned saying who's going to save her is her father. We haven't even talked about the return of that character.
Well, do you think he would save
Yeah,
her?
do you
No,
think-
see,
you
we were
don't?
talking- I don't. I think at the end of the last episode, when she tried to kill him with the gun, it was like done. It was, I am done with you, and he's a far off way, and now she probably needs him the most, and I don't think that he would save her. What do you guys think?
See, I think the exact opposite. Like, I know that a lot of people say like, oh, there's no way that Olivia could like love her father after everything he's done to her, but no matter what, he's still her father. Like, there's still that love. She is still his child. And if he sees this, if he knows what's happening and he's actually not a part of it, which he could very well be a part of it, but if he's not and he realizes that his daughter is kidnapped and like being held for ransom, I think his daddy instinct's gonna kick in and
I
he's gonna
agree.
come save her.
I mean,
Like, I
you
hope
have
so,
a
at
point.
least.
I mean, it kind of, the end of last season was kind of Olivia with her relationship with her parents. So it was kind of the castaway of her being by herself, and now it's, will her father come back? So I think it's an overall question that we'll undoubtedly hear more of, because I can't imagine Scandal without Joe Morton.
Oh, I know. I love
So
Papa
I don't
Joe.
think he's going anywhere.
Definitely think that if he's not involved, he is definitely going to be the one to save her. I don't think that he would go for it, and I don't think her mom would go for it. Not her being kidnapped. They have been terrible parents. I'm sorry. They've been terrible parents.
What if they team
and
up?
they need to possibly.
I
That would
was
be
just-
awesome.
the Scandal
But
writers are very
they haven't
smart.
been good
They are
parents,
very
but
smart people.
They
I don't
owe
put it-
her. They
Yeah,
owe
they
her.
do.
They
Yeah.
owe her, and leaving her out there like that would
Yeah.
not be good. But you're
but-
gonna.
well,
Oh, go ahead. No.
Well,
go
just
ahead.
who is the villain? I mean, obviously he's
Right.
going to become a prominent force. I mean, he might be the new man in Olivia's life, for better or worse. Obviously,
is he
for worse. but
is he the new command? Like,
That's what I mean. He's
don't
definitely
know.
a prominent.
Well,
I feel like he's stepping
There are
in
so
for this
many
season.
questions.
There are, and we're gonna
yeah.
get to more, because our little favorite part of the show here is to take your questions. But we're gonna give you a chance to throw a little bit more wine in that glass. We're gonna come back right after this quick break. We'll be right back.
in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
Just in case you missed it live.
Oh, just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live, I'm doing something right now.
So we're all super excited.
So this is dancing.
So what would that be, like a 7?
I cannot. I literally cannot. You guys have got to get it together.
Don't hate the player, don't hate the game. Hate the contract you didn't get.
He's a coward. He's a giant chicken shit.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's going to be like hurricane. Whoa.
Watch out for those girls. They are gagging them.
Hold the phone.
Hold on.
Bro.
The more brutal you are, the more power you have.
Right.
That was sexy. It was hot. It was heated. I was into it.
You are gonna be the most high-paid hooker in the world.
Go ahead and invite your friends and everybody. Tell your mama. Tell them don't ahead, turn the stove off and get up on the computer so we can get on the stream.tv.
Thank you again for joining us, and until next week, bye-bye.
Be sure to tune in to your favorite after shows here at thestream.tv. We're going to give some Twitter shout outs, and thank you for joining us tonight. At Lolo8683, at Jayski317, at that's_just_D, at cellmembrane416, and at the WW Celeb. Thanks for interacting with us. Thank you for keeping us entertained and having fun with Scandal over the break. We really appreciate it. So we are going to get to some questions. And our first fan question is from @GladiatorMandy. She writes, do you gladiators like this more vulnerable Liv or the hard ass she was in season 1?
Ooh, well, the thing is, I feel like with Olivia, and also I feel like with all of Shonda Rhimes' really strong female characters, because she has, I mean, every single one of her shows has an extremely strong female character. She always has the soul. There's always that weakness and that vulnerability there because, I mean, we're human beings. I kind of like that we're actually seeing some of Olivia's vulnerability because she's always been so strong and so in your face and so I'm gonna take control. And now we're actually seeing her afraid. We're seeing her confused, which is something I feel like all people have to go through at some point.
Really being put to the test now as well.
I agree. I mean, I think in the first season, we didn't know anything about her. We see this like, you know, this gladiator in white who goes and helps people all the time. Now, I think that at that point, maybe the character hadn't developed. So we always kind of yearned to see that strong Olivia Pope and Associates sort of back, but now I think we know a lot more about her, which makes her really cool.
Yeah, because I've always felt like Huck was just a tiny bit more endearing than Olivia because he had that vulnerability. Right. Yes, he was going to snap your neck in 2 seconds because, you know, he's Huck and he's awesome. Right. But he has that vulnerability. Like, I've always felt for him more than I felt for Olivia, and now I'm feeling for Olivia a lot.
Yeah, from the top of the show is always dying to know her story, right? I mean, that's what they're like parsing out, and you're like, give it to me already.
Like, make it rain, make it rain.
Well, she definitely has evolved. But let's go to fan question number 2, which is from @gladiator_OP, who writes, who would you like to see save Olivia?
I kind of want to see Tom save her. I know that that's really random, but like when he popped up in the dream, I loved that because he was just like, I can't save you, no one can save you. I'm here to protect him from you. Like, I don't know why, I kind of want him to like pop out and jump in.
Well, I'm Team Jake, so I would love to see Jake come in, you know, swoop in and kind of save her, but.
And that's who saved her in her dream.
Right.
Yep.
I think it's going to be a very complex way of getting her back, which is really cool to think about. What do you think?
I love Fitz. I love sex scenes with Fitz.
Don't we all?
But I think she should just rescue herself and find a way out and then show up at Fitz's door in her like POW chic look and be like, I'm here for you.
I want a brand new man to rescue her because I'm tired of both of these men. I need a brand new man to come in who actually knows how to get things done. He's just maybe somebody they brought in for something and he knows how to do it and she falls in love with him.
But her ex-fiance.
I didn't like him either. No, I didn't like him either.
We're gonna find We're gonna find out so much more information. This was only episode 1. And Scandal, like you're always glued in, and you think so much has happened, and it's kind of just only the beginning.
Yeah.
We have to find out who really took her, and the whole Vice President Andrew thing has to come up.
It does.
So we're gonna figure it out.
Let's move to I like the way you think.
Yeah, I need fresh. It's time for a new man. I'm sorry. Okay, so fan question number 3. @LivsWhiteHat, which I love that Twitter handle, @LivsWhiteHat, who writes, it's about to be a bunch of people coming for Olivia. Now the Helen of Troy reference makes sense. 1,000 ships are about to launch.
That was Tom.
That's brilliant.
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 Tom.
Ed Liv's white hat, awesome. I think you actually have a great point because we have yet to see those 1,000 ships launch, but that reference and what was that when Tom was in jail or when they had
when
him?
she goes to visit him.
Right before
Exactly.
she got him shanked.
Because again, I didn't know what that meant. I knew what Helen of Troy and the ships, but I didn't know how that was going to be brought into it. And so, that's awesome that it was.
They're literally making Fitz choose whether or not to go to war. It's like, you either go to war or she's gonna die. Like I think that's what it's gonna end up being.
Which is interesting because he's kind of gone to war in some other ways between his wife and his family and the presidency. It's all for Olivia, so we'll see.
I wonder what the hollow horse is going to be. How that'll manifest.
That shall be good. But we're running out of time, so I want to get through some blog shout outs because these are some great blogs that, again, over the break communicated with us and were awesome. At PK's on Scandal, at Scandal on Tag TV, at HTGAWM Scandal.
How to Get Away with Murder Scandal.
At Club Scandal, at ScandalFans_International, and at Gladiators Unite. And one thing that I want to say about at Gladiators Unite, they have an event coming up this summer that is a Meet Who You Tweet event, which is really awesome because you get to meet people in the community of Scandal. And they have a red carpet dinner. It's going to be August 31st, July 31st through August 2nd. And they have the whole red carpet. They have the dinner. It's really awesome. We're going to be giving more information on that as we go along this season. But you might want to check that out on their website at Gladiators Unite. All right. Do we have any YouTube shout-outs?
Yes. The comments on our page are flooding in. I think a lot of people feel as crazy as we do. Stony Leah said, "Don't know how I feel about this episode, but in a good way. I feel so sad and lost. I wanted more." So that kind of says it.
Wow.
And then Forever Johnny Boy said really very, I think, poignantly, "Holy hell, season 4B is looking to be the most insane ever." And I agree with you.
Love you forever, Johnny Boy.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
I love this episode and love you guys for watching. We want to thank you for watching us here at thestream.tv and for making us your after show for Scandal. We will be back here next week. We will see you. Please click subscribe, hit like, and comment below. We want to talk to you all week. I'm confused. We're all confused. Let's all get there together. So we love you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you, Gladiators. Good night.
Good night, Gladiators.